The ball was inbounded, Howard reached for it, and in an instant Lexi Hull read the play like a book. She lunged forward, grabbed the steal, and the Indiana Fever erupted. A team plagued all season by devastating injuries suddenly stood one possession away from rewriting nearly a decade of heartbreak. This was more than a basketball play. It was a gut check, the kind of moment where months of frustration and adversity collide into a single choice: fold or fight. And the Fever chose fight. The build-up to that moment was as dramatic as anything the playoffs could offer. Indiana entered Game 3 battered, bruised, and underestimated. 6 players sidelined, including Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, left the roster hollowed out. Officials had robbed them in Game 1 with phantom whistles and momentum-killing calls. Game 2 had been a desperate push just to stay alive. So when they walked into Gateway Center Arena for a win-or-go-home battle, the odds weren't just stacked against them, they were practically buried. But the Fever didn't see themselves as underdogs. They saw a challenge that demanded everything they had left. Kelsey Mitchell stepped onto the court with the calm of someone who had already decided she wouldn't lose. Aaliyah Boston carried herself with quiet confidence, ready to wrestle in the paint all night if that's what it took. Natasha Howard braced herself for the dirty work no one notices but everyone needs. And then there was Lexi Hull, a player whose shooting touch had betrayed her for most of the night, still refusing to give in. The first half was Mitchell's stage. She carved through Atlanta's defense, exploding off screens, hitting pull-ups, and giving Indiana the scoring pulse it needed. By halftime, she had poured in 19 points, keeping her team in striking distance against a dream squad riding the energy of a home crowd. Every time Atlanta threatened to run away with momentum, Mitchell slashed, scored, or found an open teammate, refusing to let the game slip. Inside, Boston was battling like her career depended on it. Matched against the size and power of Bree Jones, she absorbed hit after hit, yet always found the right angle to finish or grab a rebound. Her stat line told part of the story: points, boards, assists, but the true impact was in her composure. She steadied the Fever when possessions grew frantic, using patience and intelligence to create just enough breathing room for her team to reset. Around them, role players added layers to Indiana's resilience. Odyssey Sims pushed tempo, driving at defenders, drawing fouls, and orchestrating the offense with a blend of poise and aggression. Natasha Howard scraped for loose balls, extending possessions that should have died. Brianna Turner filled defensive gaps, contesting shots and frustrating Atlanta's guards. Aerial Powers dove on the floor and injected bursts of energy whenever the Fever needed a lift. It wasn't one star carrying the load, it was a collective decision to fight until the final horn. The tension only grew as the game wound toward its conclusion. Atlanta's crowd was deafening, every Fever possession drowned in noise, every turnover magnified. But Indiana stayed locked in. Mitchell's relentless attacks kept the defense honest. Boston muscled her way into big buckets. And when the Dream tried to lean on Ryan Howard, Lexi Hull stuck to her like glue, contesting without fouling, playing the kind of disciplined defense that frustrates even elite scorers. Then came the final minute, where seasons are decided and legends are born. Down by a single point, Indiana turned again to its leaders. Mitchell cut to the hoop, finished through contact, and swung the momentum back in their favor. Atlanta answered quickly, keeping the outcome in doubt. With under half a minute left, the Fever swung the ball around the arc. It landed in the hands of Hull, who had missed shot after shot all night. This was her moment of truth. She rose, released, and buried a three that brought the Indiana bench to its feet. Even then, the Dream had a chance. With just over 7 seconds left, they lined up for one last inbound, their season hanging by a thread. That's when Hull made the play that will live forever. She read the pass, cut in front, and stole the ball clean. The arena gasped, the Fever bench erupted, and history tilted. After nearly a decade without advancing, Indiana was on its way back to the WNBA Semifinals. Odyssey Sims sealed it with a free throw, but everyone knew the game belonged to Hull's steal. What began as her worst shooting night turned into the defining moment of her career. One play symbolized everything about this Fever team: persistence, resilience, and the refusal to give up no matter the circumstances. As the final horn sounded, the weight of 10 years lifted. The locker room turned into a celebration of relief and pride. Mitchell embraced teammates with tears in her eyes. Boston sat quietly, overcome with emotion. Hull clutched the game ball like a trophy. Veterans like Turner and Sims, who had fought through years of being overlooked, finally felt validation. And even Caitlin Clark, sidelined by injury but present on the bench, roared with joy. Her social media post spelling out "Fever Show" in all caps. Head coach Stephanie White reminded her players that this was only step one. Waiting for them were the Las Vegas Aces, a championship powerhouse led by Aja Wilson and Chelsea Gray. Coach Becky Hammond didn't hide her confidence, warning that Indiana hadn't seen the real Aces yet. The road ahead would be brutal, but on this night none of that mattered. Indiana had already done what seemed impossible. They had taken all the adversity, all the injuries, all the doubt, and turned it into victory. This wasn't just a playoff win. It was a rebirth. A franchise that had been mired in frustration rediscovered its heartbeat. A fan base that had waited nearly a decade finally had a team to believe in again. And a group of players who were never supposed to be here proved that toughness and faith can carry you further than talent alone. The Fever are moving on. The drought is over. And one steal by Lexi Hull will be remembered as the moment Indiana found its fight again. Let us know in the comments how proud you are of the Indiana Fever for defying the odds and breaking through at last. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss the next chapter of this incredible journey. Click the video on your screen now, and we'll see you in the next one.